Don't wish for a better day. Create it. Don't dream of a better future. Build it. And we will help you achieve it as we become AIA Philippines, bringing together over 70 years of local experience and the strength of one of the largest life insurance companies across Asia, providing protection to millions through our top advisors and partners. We will constantly innovate as we develop products that will save lives and help fulfill dreams of Filipino families and create new insurance possibilities to keep up with your ever-changing needs. So don't work towards a good life. Aim for the best one because AIA Philippines will help you finally live it.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone, and welcome to another session of Business World Insights. I am Luz Wendy Noble, Business World Central Bank reporter. This pandemic has shown us the importance of having a backup plan and how investments play a crucial role as a sense of security in unprecedented times like this. So, our speakers for today will try to break down what investments and insurance mean for Filipinos, especially since there is still a large untapped market in the country. Our needs are different and ever changing, but today we will tackle how insurance and investment products can help us to financially secure our future. Without further ado, let me introduce to you our first speaker. As the Chief Marketing Officer of AIA Philippines, he is responsible for the company's marketing strategy and initiatives, brand and product positioning, marketing communications, and conceptualization. He is also working on ensuring the delivery of its health and wellness strategy, which includes the AIA Vitality Customer Engagement Platform. With over 2 decades of experience in the financial services industry, Our speaker has proven his proficiency in marketing communications, agency management, product development, and sales promotion. Let us welcome Mr. Leonardo Tan. Mr. Leo, please. Hi, sir. Okay, Sir Leo is here again with us. As
Morning,
I've said this,
everyone. I think
yeah.
we're having some technical difficulties, but good morning, Wendy. Good
Good
morning.
morning, sir.
Am I?
I think you're. Hi, sir. Can we try that again? Okay, I guess for now, we will come back to Mr. Leo. As I've said, this are unprecedented times, and we all know that this includes our, connection problems sometimes. But for now, let's go on to our next speaker. Our next speaker, who is the founder and president of Quick Insure, the country's largest multi-channel insurance marketplace. Mr. Hamilton Angluben once also led the startup Cashalo as a general manager, helping it to be one of the largest digital lenders in the Philippines in less than 3 years. He was also a founding member of FinTech Alliance PH, which is a trade association of strategic players in the digital finance space in the Philippines. So, Mr. Hamil actually prepared a short video for us to watch. So, let's see it.
Getting insured is now easier than ever. At Quick.insure, you can compare, choose, and buy different kinds of insurance plans, all in one place. Let me show you how. Go to Quick.insure. Select what you're looking for, from vehicle, health, accident, and life insurance. We got you covered. Compare hundreds of offers from trusted insurance providers in seconds. Choose the perfect plan that fits your needs. And get insured instantly. You save your money, we save you the hassle. With Quick.insure, we do all the work for you. It's easy, quick, and simple. Get insured today with Quick.insure, your online insurance marketplace.
So, again, let us welcome Mr. Hamilton Angluben. The floor is yours, Sir Hamil.
Thanks, Wendy. It's great to be here. So, Quick Insure is an online insurance marketplace. Ultimately, what we do is we help our clients choose and buy the right insurance that fits their needs. So, we are licensed by the Insurance Commission as a brokerage. One thing I'd like to point out that as brokers, our main role is to represent our clients, meaning we're not pushing just one company. In fact, we help our clients find the best company, right? Depending on their needs. And so, yes, we in our platform we have more than 100 products already, from over 26 insurance and HMO providers. But again, ultimately, our goal is to help our clients choose and buy the right insurance that fits their needs. Wendy, thank you.
Thank you for that very brief and concise introduction of Quick Insure. And we want to learn more about your platform, Mr. Hamil, a little later when we go into the discussions. Now, for our third speaker, or second, I suppose, our speaker is an advocate of life and personal finance, and with nearly 30 years of experience in the financial service industry. He has become one of today's most respected personal finance coaches in the country. Aside from this, his training and speaking endeavors, He is also a director of the Registered Financial Planner Institute Philippines and a strong advocate of financial education for our overseas Filipino workers. So let us welcome Mr. Randall Tiongson.
Hi, good morning to everyone. Thank you for having me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, and good morning. I hope you're hearing me. No, thank you for having me. No, it's nice to be able to talk about these things. And so basically, just to introduce what I do, I'm an advocate. I've been teaching Filipinos, no, here and abroad, how to better manage their finances and build their future properly. It's been a challenge for in the financial education side because we're really going against culture. We're going against many things. It's not just a systemic problem; it's a cultural problem as well. Plus the difficulties, no, of obtaining the, we still have a population that's relatively unbanked, uninsured, uninvested. So we're trying to bring it to the more forefront, bringing, educating people, teaching them that they have to do something about their future. Hindi pwedeng umaasa lang sa mga anak natin, and all of these things are is a problem today because it's a big problem. We're trying to see more people getting, saving more money, getting out of debt, getting enough insurance, and investing properly. We also want to encourage Filipinos to prepare for their retirement, prepare for their emergency funds, and so forth and so on. That's been a forefront of the challenges that we're facing right now, and it's good to partner with the media, with institutions, with companies, so that we can further this advocacy because we believe that a properly a population that saves enough, doesn't get into a lot of debt problem, it's properly insured, investing properly, preparing for retirement, and so forth, is actually the best way to have a prosperous nation. So, and I hope this is going to be a heartfelt discussion on how to get more Filipinos prepare for the future better. So, yeah. So, again, my name's Randall. So, it's nice to listen to all the speakers also.
Thank you for your introduction, Mr. Randall. Very interesting to note that you identified that this insurance and investment as an issue is actually cultural and systemic in a country
Yeah.
like the Philippines, where finances are not just about individuals, because we're very family oriented as Filipinos, as Asians. So our investments, our insurance, and how we do our finances are actually very much involving our family. So I want to learn more about that later. So thank you again, Mr. Randall. And let's hear now from our fourth speaker, who is the president and founder of the Global Filipino Investors. He has more than 5 years worth of experiences in sales in telecommunication companies such as M1 in Singapore, Sun Cellular, and Globe Telecom before he founded the Global Filipino Investors. He was previously also with Film Life as a unit manager. Finally, he is a licensed financial advisor and an occasional guest at finance related TV and radio shows. Very pleased to welcome Mr. Floy Wicoco, the president and founder of the Global Filipino Investors. Mr.
Hello.
Floy?
Hi. Good morning to all of you. Again, I would like to thank Business World for inviting me in today's event. When it comes to the global Philippine investors, this same as what Sir Randall have also said. No, TGFI's sole advocacy is to spread financial literacy, financial education to all Filipinos globally. We do know that there's a lot of things to do still for when it comes to financial education in the Philippines. When we're saying about financial literacy, let's say on in the education system, there's been a it's been part already of the education system. But the thing is that um, those that teach about financial literacy um, need more exposure when it comes to understanding how they can grow their money. Now, on the side of the Filipino people, um, marami pa rin na kailangan gawin just to state some facts, for example, when it comes to retirement here in the Philippines, um, there's if you're from the private entity, most retirees their source of retirement fund will be their, let's say, their SSS uh, the SSS benefits. The thing is that here in the Philippines, the average SSS amount is only at close to 4,000 pesos per month, or 3,000, I guess. It's not even enough to pay for water electricity bill. No? So, kung yun ang aasahan natin na retirement money, how can Filipinos live? So there's really a big there's a really a big responsibility for financial literacy advocates and people who teach about investments business, to educate more people and make this subject matter more engaging. So which is why such events like this, no, it's a good way for us to help people understand na hindi naman mahirap intindihin ang insurance, ang investment, ang business. It's more of how you can make them appreciate its purpose. So this event can help people understand it further. So yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Floyd. So that's also my hope for today, that we actually make topics on insurance and investments feel more comfortable and closer to home for our fellow Filipinos, because all of us are Filipinos are very hardworking, so we deserve a good retirement plan for all, and that is not just going to rely on this, as you said, government insurance schemes. If we have the means to actually go and try insurance and investment schemes that are very much um, in line with our goals in life. So thank you for sharing that with us, Mr. Floyd.
Sure.
So now we're going to this part, the interesting part of this panel. We go to our discussion, and I want to welcome every one of our guests so they can be part of the discussions on insurance and investments. I'm going to call again Mr. Leo Tan from AIA Philippines, Mr. Hamil of Quick Insure, Mr. Randall of the, and finally Mr. Floyd. Okay, so our big four guys today. This first question is for Mr. Leo and Mr. Randall. I want to know from your perspective, because they say that in order to start an investment, you have to try your own research and try to understand more. But for some Filipinos, there's a tendency to think that investment and insurance, the words are very highfalutin. Parang how can that be more relatable for them? What are the personal factors they should consider before considering a product or an insurance or investment plan? Let's start with Mr. Leo. Good to have you back, sir. Sir
Yeah.
Leo,
Am I coming in clear, Wendy? So I think that's a very good question, no? But before one would dabble into finding out what the best investment is, and I'm sure Randall will agree with me. It's first and foremost, one has to craft their financial plan, okay, because you have to know where you are right now and where you want to be, the why and the what first, because the investment vehicles or the insurance plans, these are the house, right? So when you craft your financial plan, there are several factors that you have to look into, for example, age or the life stage, and what are your goals? Is it to retire early? Is it to make sure that your children will be able to have the best education? or if you are part of the sandwich generation, diba, you want to make sure that your folks are well taken care of while taking care of your family. So that's very important, and that's highly personalized. And also when it comes to protection, you need to know also no at what life stage you are in, and basically things that probably put you in certain situations, or riskier situations. So that's how I will do it, and then plan for it accordingly. Now you've mentioned that there are a lot of intimidating terms, intimidating concepts when it comes to investments and insurance. That's why the power of digital now, the power of internet, we have several experts who are able to give that advice. Randall and Floyd does a lot of talks. We normally get one of them also to do talks with our customers. So that's one important item. The second one is to research, learn about different tools and techniques. We have a lot of online forums that talk about that. Or you can also talk to different financial advisors, not just with AIA Philippines. No, there are several brands across the industry who can help you. Sit down with you, identify the situation where you are in, help you unearth also the goals that you have in mind. Ask also no, about your risk appetite, your risk tolerance, because an equity investment might be perfect for someone who is more aggressive, but probably not the best one for someone who is more conservative. Kita ka nga pero baka ibayad mo lang no sa hospital or sa doctor. So it has to be a personal conversation, but you can do research online, and there are a lot of resources out there. So I hope I was able to give some color and context into that question, Wendy.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Yeah, that's very important that you've mentioned that investments and insurance really depends on the priorities. We have to start with prioritizing, and whether whether it's for, retirement or the education of your kids and the life stage that you're actually at, because priorities change as we grow old. So from your end, Mr. Randall, what can you say about the this discussion?
All right,
What are
just
your
to add
thoughts?
to what my friend Leo has been talking about, no, siguro it starts by having the conversations. At the end of the day, we need to have these conversations as a family, the couple, their children, their parents. Conversations are important, no? It is important to understand ano ba yung narrative ng buhay natin? What are our goals? Ano ba gusto natin? And it starts by really, knowing these things, and everything will follow right after there, no? There has to be a desire for Filipinos to do something about their future. There has to be alam mo yon, there has to be a decision that we need to make, no? Kailangan, I was been telling a lot of people, kailangan magalit ka sa situation mo, no? You don't want to be like this. You don't want to continue to be, living from, from paycheck to paycheck, and then, parang generational poverty. All of these things are issues that needs to be discussed. So it starts with the conversations with the right people, conversations with the experts, conversations with the financial industry, conversations with that. Now, on top of that, speaking from, I used to work for, these big companies and stuff like that, and I've been telling them we must also learn how to communicate properly with the people. Diba? I mean, there has to be that stigma. When we talk about insurance, investments, it's so negative to a lot of people. And despite of all the years of what we're trying to do advocacy, it's still not openly, I guess, assimilated, openly welcome, because it's the manner of how we talk to them. Diba? I mean, a lot of these conversations starts with, people trying to be sold something, a sold product. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it starts with education first. So there has to be a siguro a definite need to move towards, in educating people. Our strategies, let's say for a Western country like the US or Europe, or even progressive Asian countries like Singapore and Japan, will not be the same in the Philippines. Iba dito eh. So we need to talk, we need them to understand that it is important that we need to prepare for the future, that there needs to be something that needs to be done. There has to be a trust that needs to develop between, the financial industry and the general people. Kailangan meron yon, ano? I mean, honestly, there's been a lot of problems in the past. We had the pre-need problem. We have bank foreclosures and all of these things. So it's you don't blame the Filipino people, no. Plus the fact, no, just to add on to the difficulty, a lot of them will try to listen, and then because kulang sa education, they get scammed. Yang si Floy and I, we've done a lot of our education. Marami na nagalit sa amin, ano. We've done that because they believe the wrong things. That's important to understand. Establish natin what are the basics, what are the fundamentals, so that we can, we can change the narrative of the people. And I believe that's the real change that we need to understand. So just to summarize, conversation needs to be done. The way we communicate to them. Okay, I mean, we don't have to make it so complicated because it can be complicated, but it doesn't have to. Okay, and when you do that, you see change happening. We've seen that in pocket changes. We've seen people change their lives. I've personally witnessed OFWs changing their lives, and that affects the generations afterwards. It can be done. It just have to be a more deliberate approach.
Yeah. Very important, Sir Floyd, that you've mentioned conversations and how the approach on starting this conversation should not be based on how Western countries or Singapore or Japan did it, because Filipinos have a different way of approaching finances. I think it's as you've mentioned a while ago, that this is a societal issue as well. I guess because Filipinos are very happy go lucky, or I mean very happy people, that it's kind of a taboo for some to talk about death in terms of life insurance. So it's very interesting that you've mentioned that this conversations has to start with the family, and getting that context of where they are at life right now. Okay, so our next question, this is for Mr. Hamill and Mr. Floyd. I just want to gauge by age groups, for millennials or the younger generations, and target segments like overseas Filipino workers or those that are nearing their retirement age. Which products are they more keen on to subscribe to? Are these traditional investment products, or are these age groups more into investment linked products? And what does this say about their priorities in life? Because Mr. Leo a while ago was saying that it starts with defining your priorities. So let's start with Mr. Hamill.
Hi, yeah. So what we're seeing from our site, at least from our database, is that the younger generation, especially Gen Zers, they are more into health protection. So during, especially at the height of the pandemic, our best-selling product was for COVID protection. But as they get older, we get more inquiries for investments. But and so really the trend is when what we're seeing is when people are younger, they're more inclined towards health protection, life protection, and as they get older, millennials and above, we see them leaning towards a mix of both insurance and investment.
Oh, okay. So how about Mr. Floyd?
Yeah. Well, for us in based on from our experience, for the OFW market, there's been a a portion wherein OFW start to understand more on why it's a must for them to be insured first. Because most of the time they're the ones who are breadwinners of the family. No? So we always tell them before you go into the investment side, you need to understand first that you need to protect your income. So the income protection should be there. So by protecting your income, you need to be insured. Now, when it comes to the insurance product, what are the type of products they should get? No, most of the time, since they are busy people, so once they get to, let's say, they get to be in the Philippines, the first thing that they get to avail are the investment linked products. Um, some are saying that investment linked products are something that is expensive, but for me it's not. It is more on how you appreciate its purpose. So for investment-linked products, kasi you get to be insured on the type of insurance coverage that you need. Then at the same time, you get to be covered on the medical side of it. Let's say you get to be hospitalized, you get to be covered for a certain amount of money. Then at the same time, bonus na lang, kumbaga, for retirement side mo na lang, yung magiging investment part of it. No? But there are also some that are still go with the um, BTID format or yung buy term and invest the difference, no? So ito yung medyo mas mabusisi type of people. So meaning they get to avail those who are those products that are in part yung particular need lang nila. For example, they just need a life insurance coverage, and then let's say their budget for a year is at least a 20,000 pesos amount of money. They get to avail a term insurance for at least 10,000 pesos, for example, and the rest they get to invest it. So there are different ways for you to maximize your money when it comes to investing them or putting them into insurance. Again, the most important factor here is you need to understand first its purpose. Why are you getting insured? No, you're being insured not because of on the investment side of it. You're being insured because you want to show to your loved ones that you love them. Let's say you get to be hospitalized. At least you get to be covered. You don't want them to worry already. If something happens to you, at least you get to be covered as well. You get to give them security that hey, at least in the next coming months, if something happens, no, wag naman sana, but if something happens, at least on the financial side of it, I get to show you that how much I love you. I care for you guys, so I don't want you to worry financially. No, so there are a lot of factors for, let's say, OFWs. For ano naman, for Gen Z market, for the Gen Z market, medyo nagkakaroon ng revolution wherein they jump right away on the investment side. Okay lang naman yon, but again, the younger generation should also appreciate why they are being insured. Kasi nga siguro if they're in the younger generation, wala pa masyadong responsibilities, no? So, but the younger generation should also realize that one day they will also grow old. They will also turn 30s, 40s, 50s until one day they get to see that they get to be retired already. As early as they get to be insured. Kasi nga, it's the younger you are, the cheaper the insurance product can be. No, so that's one thing that we get to see when it comes to this type of generation. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Floy. So from Mr. Hamil and Mr. Floy gave us a backgrounder of what different age groups are into. Like Mr. Floy said that the younger generation are more inclined on getting COVID protection. This is very timely at this point. And Mr. Floyd told us about how OFWs as with their breadwinner state of mind is into investment linked products and ensuring that their families feel that they won't have to burden their families in terms of unexpected case of unexpected times. So now let's go with Mr. Leo and Mr. Floy. Uh, just just to help out our audience on maybe you can share what factors will determine what clients initially choose for their first investment. Do you recommend a checklist that they can have with them in picking the right investment to start with? Because Mr. Leo has been saying about really knowing your investments. So let's start with Mr. Leo. I think you're on mute, sir.
Sorry, I was talking on mute. So, yeah, yeah. So, Wendy, sorry about that. Like I said, no, it has always you always need to be very clear with your goals. No, so once you've already identified your goals, then that's where the conversation with the advisor or with yourself should start. No? Check, no, what's your uh, time horizon, what's your risk tolerance. I think that one is very very important. So normally you go and look for some questionnaires that would help you identify whether you're conservative, moderate, or aggressive. And once you've pinned that down, then that's the time you look at the different vehicles out there. So, for example, if you are the conservative type, probably you would want to put more of your portfolio in conservative assets such as fixed income instruments, right? If you are more the aggressive type, meaning you're still young, you have 20 years to work on your financial portfolio, so you want to be more aggressive. And nowadays, there are also options whether you want to invest locally or globally, right? Because of globalization, because of technology, a lot of different asset classes are now open for diversification opportunities. As they say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And for example, even amongst the aggressive asset classes, marami rin dyan eh. So now we were hearing about cryptocurrencies, but probably I'm already nearing my 50s. No, I'm a little bit younger than Randall. So so I'm still aggressive when it comes to my risk appetite, but at the same time, not as adventurous as some millennials and Gen Z would be. So I look at certain equity portfolios locally as well as globally. In fact, that's one of the nice things that the AIA Philippines did last year. We opened up a portfolio of global funds. So these are pooled funds, no, not necessarily you investing directly in the market or in these underlying assets. You have a fund manager. In our case, it's someone who's based in. It's a team based in Singapore. So they do the investing for us, but at the same time, they provide advice. They provide the monitoring and the governance. Now, what's important also, Wendy, is that over time you have to do reassessment. Kasi, like I said, no, many years ago, I was very, very adventurous. I still had a lot of hair. Randall would know that. Nowadays, I'm losing it. So, medyo nauubos na. So, even the aggressiveness tuminipis eh. So, I have to constantly rebalance my portfolio. And year in, year out, I have to look at the different assets that I'm invested in. Now, when it comes naman to insurance policies, it really depends. No, I'm a family man now. I have a son, so I'm always worried. While I have my investments, I'm accumulating my assets, right? But that takes time. That takes time. So COVID, gave me the realization that things that normally do not happen might happen. So napaisip ako eh. Sabi ko, if I don't have the protection, no, whether that's life or medical or critical illness insurance, if something happens to me, what will I pay the doctor if I get sick before I get rich? Especially in the last few years, market correction has been very, very real, has been felt by a lot of people who are invested in the market. So that's why I said, no, you have to be goal based. Kasi if you are not clear with your goals, there are noises that happen during the cycles. Mawawala ka, you tend to panic, you tend to be emotional. So crafting that financial plan, knowing your risk appetite, selecting the right assets, no, that would be appropriate for your risk tolerance, and continuously review that. I think those are key factors that would help you be more successful in growing your investments and looking for the best insurance product for you.
All right. Thank you, Sir Leo. We had an age reveal right there. We had an age reveal, and also we understood the importance of actually reassessing investments because we change and our plans change. So we have to, reassess it from time to time. Now let's go with what I want to know about Mr. Floyd. What he has to say about this.
from my end, no, so Sir Lee already mentioned the right answer. It comes to assessing your investment, how you can be more successful. Let me just point out on why I chose to be insured. When I was already choosing products, insurance products, no, I realized that a investment linked product is a more fit product for me. No, why? Because nandun ako sa part where I don't want to worry on the insurance side, or if something happens to me, or yung medical side, no. So ayoko na siyang problemahin. I just want to focus more on my investments. So already started to invest in different investment vehicles like mutual funds, UITF, stock market, global funds. No? So now I wanted to focus more on that. And then on the insurance side, I want my financial advisor na lang to help me understand what are the best fit product for me. So I get to have an investment linked product na. Now, why are you the other statement here is that when you get to be insured, no, there are only two things why you're getting insurance. No, one is that you get to realize that there's a need for you to be insured. And then at number two is you get to experience to be sick, or you there's a loved one that maybe died, and you get to realize na kailangan pala maging insured kasi kailangan yung financial side ma-cover, no? So on my end, I experienced both things, no? So 2020, I get to be tested positive of COVID. From COVID-19, there's one symptom na lagi ako nagko-complain to the doctor. So I complain about my headache. So from there, the doctor said, "Sige, we get to scan you." So I had a CT scan. After a few days, we all thought that COVID is deadly already. Yung pala, doctor told me that there's a more deadly situation that I needed to focus. So they get to diagnose that I had a brain tumor. So a meningioma. So now, dun sa brain tumor na yun, medyo nagulat kaming lahat ng family ko. So I emotionally, physically, psychologically, it was stressful. At least on the financial side, I did not worry. Why? Because I have a critical illness coverage. So, which is one of the participants here are with the companies affiliated with. No, so I get to be insured on the critical side. So after few weeks, I think it's only 2 weeks difference or 3 weeks difference, nag-undergo na ako ng surgery, a major surgery. And then I get to be covered well, 6 digits amount. So at least dun sa operation na yun, hindi ko na winnery yung financial side. At least I get to be covered already. So konti na lang yung winnery ko, nag-focus na lang ako sa pagpapalakas. So again, when you get to be insured, there are only two things, two factors. No, one is the experience it. Second is you get to realize why there's a need for you to be insured.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir Floy, for sharing the human side of actually planning our finances, of these things that could really happen. Like we wouldn't want them to happen, but we have to prepare for these kinds of things, and how your forward looking approach to your finances help you to have that peace of mind, not only for yourself but for your family during that point in your life. Now, let's go with Mr. Hamill and Mr. Randall. I think so. This question is for you, gentlemen. I want to know your take on how unprecedented events like the pandemic affected insurance and investment plans. I think Mr. Hamill has already touched on this, but I want to know like how the trends have changed compared to pre-pandemic times on the behavior of the clients you've seen. And can clients or advisors make adjustments to their plans along the way when uncertainties like this happen? Let's start with Mr. Hamill.
Yeah, thank you. So I think the pandemic was really huge for insurance. Looking at the figures in, for example, 2020, where we the level of the number of premiums bought by Filipinos grew from $6.5 billion to 7.5 billion in 2021. It grew by almost 20%. So really the pandemic, what it did was really heighten the awareness for the need for insurance. So for example, I'd share with you that in Google, so before the pandemic, there were only about 2 million monthly searches for anything about health insurance, life insurance on Google. So parang 2 million Filipinos lang nagsa-search niyan, di ba? Pero when by the end of 2020, early 2021, there's now almost 5 million Filipinos searching about insurance um, every month. So really, it more than anything, it brought about the awareness, the need for insurance, and even for us, I think our entry to the market was very fortunate because of that heightened awareness. So even at the height of the pandemic, we were able to get all these partners because all the insurance companies were very worried that they didn't have a digital presence. And so all of them quickly signed up with Quick Insure. So what I'd like to add is that the one of the things that the insurance commission did, which we really applaud them, was that before a lot of especially life insurance products and definitely the investment linked products, no, it had to be sold face to face. But because of the pandemic, now the insurance commission had allowed video call selling. So, 'di ba, now it's safer to buy insurance online. So for us, really what we what our clients liked about our platform, especially because of the pandemic, was that they didn't have to talk to meet anyone in person. Second was that it was like talking to a lot of agents, right? They didn't have to talk to a lot of agents. They just had to talk to with us because we represent, most of the top players in the industry, and really without having to set all these different meetings with all these different advisors, they're able to get we're able to guide them in the selection process, like this company, these products are the best, and depending on what they need, we're able to provide them with those needs. And when it comes to investments, we saw that a lot of people were very angry dun sa because they bought yung VUL, yung investment link, because a lot of it was tied with the stock market, right? And during 2020, talagang bumagsak siya. But also, what's great about the industry is that it's the good advisors, 'di ba, would say that the common the contrarian the contrarian theory is that when there's blood in the streets is that when you invest. So advisors would say now is the time to invest more in the product. And so we do see towards the tail end of 2020, a lot of people, especially in 2021, a lot of people top up their VUL products. And especially in 2021, not only did they top up their products, they bought more policies. Yun na nga, because of the heightened awareness, and really because they saw that the returns were coming back. And so again, for me, it's really truly an unprecedented event. The insurance industry had a bit of a dip, but bounced back stronger because of the pandemic.
Very nice to note, Mr. Flory, you mentioned that keyword of
Hamil.
bouncing back. Miss, Mr. Hamill, that this pandemic is a chance for us to reflect, back, like the insurance industry, how you were able to take advantage of the digitalization, and that heightened sense of awareness for Filipinos to actually start on buying their insurance product because things like this can happen. And you've also mentioned the trend on VUL products that people topped up because, like, because of how they view the market as this cycle of times when it's good to start investing. So let's now try to see what's your take on this, Mr. Randall.
And just to add on to ano 'no, by the way magkaedad lang kami ni Leo 'no, joke lang. Okay? And just, I don't know nilaglag nila ako 'no, and anyway, actually just to add on to that si Floy inaanak ko 'yan so that kind of gives away my age ano. Anyway, so just to may araw ka din Leo 'no. So, just to add on to what Hamilton said 'no, the increased awareness was there 'no. I mean, we can see it, the numbers have showed it. The dip eventually people recovered by the end of 2020. There were changes. Of course, kudos to the insurance commission. We've been telling the insurance commission that you should go digital, and it took the COVID no to push them. So that was. But at the same time, there was also highlighted. It also highlighted the problems, no, the way it's being distributed. We also saw that at least on my end, no, training, teaching people that many financial advisors, many brokers did not know how to handle, no, things like things like a COVID situation, dips, and so forth and so on. So there has to be also an increased improvement on competencies, capacities of distribution, and this really highlighted because there's a shift, no, towards of course more digital, digital usage of these things, and we saw that advisors, brokers who were able to use digital properly and educate properly, they benefited from that. Case in point, no, one of the brokers that I use is Ramper Financials, no, very traditional, and shifted to use a lot of this YouTube, and it worked for them. I've been tracking what's happening in Gcash. I'm sorry not to mention, but in Gcash, I mean, there are now 5 million investors, no, using their platform. You see that shift is and even the insurance side, no, we've seen the shift. It's really amazing, there are more people right now who are more interested, but also we have to change the way we approach them, to change our, again here again, the narrative, the competency levels, and so forth and so on. There has to be a push. It COVID was a thing, and now that we're normalizing things, we're gonna go back to the way things were, and now it's going to be a challenge. Now, what happens to these advisors, to these brokers, to these agencies? They need to learn from those lessons. They need to be able to continue to serve their clients better. What do we do with these? With these people no nawala, nung nagwawala na yung market, they couldn't find their advisors and agents. What do we do with them? How do we retrain them? How do we teach them? How do we guide them? Because problems like this, because they said I'm old, we've seen a lot of these reversals in the past, 2008, 1997. We've seen that, and it's really important to have a highly competent professional distribution ways of doing it, no? Even if it's digital, even it's face to face. And there's going to be, it may not be a COVID, but it can be something else, maybe the next decade also, that will radically change many of these things.
That's very true, Sir Randall, how you said that we have to anticipate that COVID is not like a once in a, I mean, this kind of pandemic or unprecedented time is not just gonna be a once in a lifetime event for us. So it's good that you've mentioned how this should be a time for us to think through the challenges that the industry has already realized through this pandemic, like the distribution channels, and how you mentioned that the financial advisors could use this time to really think on what else can they do to better professionalize their services for their clients. So our next question this time is for Mr. Floy, because you've told us about your personal experiences and how insurance and investments has actually helped you through the difficult times in your life. Filipinos right now, and actually all of us around the world, are, as we have mentioned time and again, that these are unprecedented times, and there's this COVID, and now there's even war in Ukraine. Although we're very far, we are feeling its impact to us by heightened inflation, which is gonna be here for a while because of oil prices, of course. So I wonder, what for you, what is the place of insurance and investment for Filipinos that are, living from one payday to another, because this issue on inflation is going to be very big for people like them. So what investment and insurance products could be able to respond to their needs, given affordability is a major concern for them at times like this, when prices are getting more costly for them?
Yeah. Well, honestly, this is also one of the questions being asked to me when it comes to every time we get to have events like this. Honestly, when it comes to insurance or investment side, yes, money is a big factor, but they also have to understand that there are products that are affordable on their end though. So the important part when it comes to starting is again educating themselves first. No? So they need to understand first why is there a need for you to be insured? Why is there a need for you to get to be invest or you get to invest? No. Um, Alam mo, when I used to be a financial advisor, there's this one client that I entertained. No, so he told me that he used to earn at least 7,500 pesos that time per month. No, if you're going to look at it, he's a family man. He has one child. No, if you're going to look at it, parang hindi kaya kasi 7,500 per month is it enough for that person to get to be insured or you get to invest. Then I get to ask him what's the status of his finances. We get to find out that the guy has a savings. So yung savings niya can afford to pay an insurance that is not that expensive. So today that guy is insured. He has at least I think around 1 million plus life insurance coverage. He's also investing in mutual funds. He's also investing in the stock market, and yet he didn't put in so much money. Ang lagi ko sinasabi dito when it comes to getting insured, no, make it part of your monthly obligations. For example, are you paying your electricity bill? You think that it's a responsibility for you to pay your electricity bill. When also paying for your insurance or getting to be insured, it's also can be a part of obligation. You can put it as part of your monthly obligation. So oblige yourself to pay your insurance because that's one way for you to show your loved ones that hey, this is my responsibility to you. I want you to know how much I love you. So I'll make sure if something happens to me, meron kang coverage. So hindi naman mahal yung mga insurance eh. There are insurance that you can pay for as low as 100 pesos, 200 pesos. May mga micro insurance tayong tinatawag eh, no? It's all about understanding why there is a need for you to be insured, no? So that's one of the important factors to for you to realize, regardless of your status in life, there's a need for you to be insured. There's a need for you to invest because one day you'll grow older. One day there will be a need for you to get that medical insurance coverage, for example, no. So it's all about educating yourself first. Yun yung pinaka-importante.
Thank you, Mr. Floy, for that stress on really obligating yourself on prioritizing insurance. And now, this next question, because we're running short on time, I wanted to ask this to Mr. Leo and Mr. Hamil. What is your take so far on cryptocurrencies as a part of an investment basket for Filipinos? Would you want Filipinos to have it as part of their supplementary basket, or would you suggest to make them focus on this more? And also kind of related, because we are also cryptocurrency came at a time of so much digitalization. I want to know your take also on tips that you can maybe share to investors to to avoid investment and financial fraud and scams that are now proliferating through online means, social engineering schemes, because more people are online. So can you have a word on that, Mr. Leo and Mr. Hamil? Let's start with Mr. Hamil this time.
About crypto, so what they say about crypto is really if your investment, the size of your investment in crypto is crypto is very volatile, right? So if the size of your investment makes you lose sleep at night, it means it's too much. So no, that really depends on the risk appetite of the person. But what we hear from the market is normally it's as the size of their total portfolio, it's normally less than 5%. For more conservative portfolios, it's about 1 to 2%. But in terms of the regular person who wants to get into crypto, my suggestion is definitely to start small, and as they say in the space is DYOR. If you're gonna research, it means do your own research. So on top of that, I would suggest buying from really marketplaces where you can trust locally. I'd say here it would be coins, PDAX. Also, you can try looking at that. But what's really important is DYOR. Know if it's a real company. How many users do they have? How long have they been in the space? What licenses do they have? Because the last thing you want to do is to put your money in a marketplace or in an exchange which closes. Cryptocurrency now is not covered by PDIC, and so it's very important, especially if you're planning to put a large amount into crypto. Make sure that the exchange is legit, and if ever, again, better to diversify, maybe split it to 2 or 3 exchanges, so if anything goes wrong in one of those exchanges, at least you're not going to lose everything. But as a summary, in terms of an investment, I'd say that's the rule. If it's gonna make you lose sleep at night, you're investing too much in crypto. But I do recommend it, especially for those who are younger, and those who have heavier risk appetite.
Thank you, Sir Hamil, for that. Mr. Leo, would you like to share more on the part where you could share some tips for our investing public on how to avoid investment scams and financial fraud?
Sure. I will adopt and embrace what Hamil said. DYOR. So when you are looking at the asset class that you would want to go into, do a background check also of the institution and the brand that's offering that. No, so well, for crypto, it's something new, not yet that regulated, but very sexy. So uh, it would be a different route now when you do the exercise on researching on that. But particularly for the more institutionalized investment vehicles and insurance policies, there is a wealth of information that you can access digitally. So there are also articles and information that you can get from the regulators. No? So, for example, in our industry, we have the Insurance Commission, and there you can look at different metrics, different statistics. So, there are reports on market share, there are reports also on net worth, there are also reports on total assets and net income. So, you get to see the capabilities of the different brands and providers when it comes to making sure that they will be able to fulfill the promises that they have made, no? And also for investments, ganun din, you need to check. Most of them, corporations would be listed under SEC, so that's a good reference point. And aside from that, also the people you talk to, the advisors, and also the channel. So Quick Insure does it digitally. A lot of brands still have face to face. So whatever your preferred channel is, do your research and make sure that they're legit. No, and I think when you are able to do that, you can sleep soundly at night. No, so Sabi nga ni Hamil, different assets can be part of your portfolio. It's just would depend really on your appetite. Ang tip ko lang, pagka hindi ka masyadong familiar sa crypto, mag-aral pa, otherwise it might turn out to be a cryptic investment. So hope I was able to give some tips and advice on that, Wendy.
Thank you, Mr. Leo and Mr. Hamil, for reminding our audience to check on our investments if they allow us to sleep better at night and if they allow us to really secure our future. Now, I want to ask our four gentlemen for their short closing remarks for this very informative discussion. We start with Mr. Floy. Mr. Floy, please.
My only tip is that getting insurance is something that you need to give importance with. No? If you are again, if you think that it's a responsibility for you to pay all of your bills, making insurance or getting insurance, put it as well as part of your responsibility on a monthly basis. One day you'll thank yourself why you get to be insured. One day you get to appreciate, hey, at least I get to be insured. At least I will not worry anymore on the if something happens to me. No, or I will not worry anymore about my retirement. At least may additional akong source of retirement fund. Or at least I will not worry anymore if I get to be hospitalized with a critical illness because I have a critical illness coverage already. Make it part of your responsibility, not just to yourself but to your loved ones. No, and then of course, getting an investment is also an important factor. And we know that it's very exciting for you to, for example, it's just your first time to invest. It's exciting for you to invest in the stock market, for example. But before you get to invest in different investment vehicles, you have to understand them first. No, don't invest because it's you get to be hyped. Go invest because you think that it's something that can help you to retire early, or to help you to appreciate more of a more give you more free time. No, so those are the things that I guess I can help people understand. Na again, being insured, being invested, these are important way of life. No, so make it as part of your obligation to yourself. Yeah. Thank you again, Business World, for inviting.
Thank you, Mr. Randall. Pleasure to have you here too. Let's have Mr. Floy, sorry. Now let's have Mr. Randall. Okay, Mr. Randall.
Okay, so yeah, and again, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to be able to do that. Siguro, I just wanted to remind people that they need to do something to prepare for their future properly. It means that they need to manage their finances well. They need to earn properly. Kailangan matuto magtipid, matuto mag-ipon, manage your debt properly. Kailangan may emergency funds. And again, insurance is always a good idea to protect yourself from the many risks of life, and then you begin to invest. And just to encourage people, no, start with something that you can. You buy a insurance investment policy, a combination, whatever it is that you want to buy. You start with what you can, but you build on it. Diba? You start it. And here's what I want to tell people. No, I mean, money not saved, money not invested, is money going to be spent. So might as well do something about it, and you build it, and then you slowly build the foundations, and you'll be surprised. No, you'll thank your younger self for doing so. So I just want to encourage people to keep on building their future properly and to do something about it today.
Yes, that's very nice. Doing something that we could thank our younger selves for actually committing to. Let's have Mr. Hamil this time.
Yeah, as our other esteemed panelists have mentioned, as to the whys of buying insurance, I'd like to just stress on the how. Right? Think of buying insurance if, as if you're buying a phone or a really expensive laptop or even a car, right? You do your research. And so when it comes to insurance, one of the best ways to do it is to go online, but also to talk to as many agents as you can, right? Because then each one of them will say they have the best product, They're from the best company, but ultimately you have to decide on your own, right? Uh, it is your money, and probably it will be a huge investment on your side anyway. And so you shop around as if you were trying to buy an expensive laptop or a car. Or you could always go to Quick Insure, and where you see all the different products there from all the different companies. Chat with us, request a quote, we'll call you or set an appointment with one of our advisors. So we're not just completely digital. Anyway, the insurance commission requires video call selling, for especially for the investment products. So again, really DYOR, do your own research, talk to as many agents as you can, and really dig deep. It is your money. It's your responsibility to what happens to it. So yeah.
Thank you for the reminders, Mr. Hamil. Now let's have Mr. Leo. We missed your opening remarks a while ago, so we missed it. But we had your age reveal. Maybe this time you could share some plans since the rebrand of AIA Philippines and your closing remarks, Mr. Leo, please.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy. First off, I'd like to thank Business World. I think what you guys are doing is very, very relevant. The financial literacy rate of the country is at just 25%, no? And the insurance penetration rate is actually even lower at 1.6%. Some people might see it as a glass half empty situation, but me, to AIA Philippines, it's actually glass half full. Props also to our panelists because they are part of the crusade, no, to really increase the level of financial literacy. Of course, investment knowledge, savings know-how, and at the same time, being able to understand the need for protection. I think Randall, again, my very good friend, ka-age ko nga daw siya, he talked about this, no? The financial pyramid start with the basic things and then move up, no? In that financial pyramid. So emergency funds, insurance protection portfolio, whether that's for life, medical, and critical illness or critical illness. Then you work on the savings component and all the way to investment and some probably for those who are tuned in, depending on your uh, stage in your financial plan. Some might even be thinking about estate planning already. So, what's good about it is there are a lot of brands out there. AIA Philippines just last year rebranded ourselves, no, from AIA Film Life to AIA Philippines because we wanted to have wider and global presence. So, again, we are fully committed in making sure that we help Filipinos race against risks so that we can save lives. Also, talk to them about proper financial and protection planning so that eventually we'll be able to help them live a healthier, longer, and better life. So, again, maraming salamat. I hope even with some technical glitches, we were able to share snippets and nuggets of wisdom to our audience today.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Again, thank you very much to our speakers, Mr. Leo Tan, Mr. Hamil Angluben, Mr. Randall Tiongson, and Mr. Floyd Wicoko. Also, many thanks to AIA Philippines for supporting this session and to our partner organizations, British Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, Management Association of the Philippines, Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and to our media partner, the Philippine Star. Of course, thanks everyone for you who have joined us today as we learned more about investment and insurance. I hope it was helpful for you guys. Be sure to tune in to Business World's social media pages to be updated on our next projects. Again, this is Luz Wendy Noble, and this has been Business World Insights. Good afternoon.
Don't wish for a better day. Create it. Don't dream of a better future. Build it. And we will help you achieve it as we become AIA Philippines, bringing together over 70 years of local experience and the strength of one of the largest life insurance companies across Asia, providing protection to millions through our top advisors and partners. We will constantly innovate as we develop products that will save lives and help fulfill dreams of Filipino families and create new insurance possibilities to keep up with your ever-changing needs. So don't work towards a good life. Aim for the best one because AIA Philippines will help you finally live it.